Welcome to We Win New. Today's video will uncover what really happens in those final moments behind the wheel. These moments of unexpected ahas show even the most routine trip can veer off course in an instant. Now let's get going.
Harsh event detected. Harsh event detected.
On April 6, 2025, an ethanol-loaded tanker truck overturned and exploded in Santa Catarina, Brazil. The ensuing blaze rapidly spread downhill, engulfing 22 cars and 3 trucks for a total of 25 vehicles. The road was completely shut down in both directions for over 15 hours, with traffic diversions affecting drivers. In India, a bus lost its brakes and crashed into a trailer, but fortunately the driver was able to escape safely and no one was injured in the incident. A truck was traveling on the road when it encountered a white car oncoming. The truck driver then swerved to avoid it. However, after the swerve, the truck full of sand suddenly flipped over. It occurred on April 17, 2024 in Yunnan, China. On the afternoon of June 13, 2025, an intermodal freight train struck a semi-truck at the LaGrange Road crossing in LaGrange, Illinois. The collision disrupted halting trains between Fairview Avenue and Berwyn for several hours. The collision occurred on December 27, 2024 in Bihar, India. The truck veered off the road and overturned. The entire cargo in the truck's bed spilled onto the road. The 22-wheeler was transporting cement when its brakes reportedly failed while it was traveling along Mitrapap Road in Thailand on April 2024. 3 other vehicles were damaged, including 2 Toyota pickup trucks and a Toyota van. A semi-driver jumped from a dangling semi after it caught fire and fell to the road below in Louisville, on Interstate 65 near Spaghetti Junction. The driver is okay. Traffic was backed up on the Kennedy Bridge, but lanes are open. All lanes of Interstate 65 at Interstate 64 reopened around 9 p.m. The truck was hit hard in the rear by an out-of-control container truck, which was thrown into a gas station on the right side of the road and flipped over before collapsing the gas pump.
Hey, this low boy is stuck right here on the tracks. Boom!
To derailment of all 4 locomotives and the first 11 railcars. Spilled a large quantity of diesel. The heavy load was propelled into the air, colliding with the nearby Pecos Chamber of Commerce building, causing structural damage.
Right in front of the museum, quite a mess, dude. Took out this truck right here.
The truck, traveling at an excessively high speed, lost its brakes while attempting to navigate a sharp corner, causing the driver to lose control and resulting in the vehicle overturning. Speeding through intersections is one of the most dangerous driving behaviors and a leading cause of accidents. Slow down early as you approach, even if you have the green light. A truck was seen changing lanes aggressively on a busy Australia highway, weaving between vehicles without using indicators and forcing the cam driver to brake suddenly. On June 11, 2025, in China, a T-bone collision occurred at an intersection between two large trucks, causing an impact that caused a truck to turn over. A black car, unfortunately, caught in the chaos. It's unclear who was at fault, but to stay safe, drivers should always slow down and stay alert when approaching intersections. Paying close attention can help protect you and prevent accidents. This is a situation anyone could find themselves in. Do you have any tips on how to reduce the risk of a collision in a case like this? On a steep incline along Masisi-Kunene Road, South Africa, near the Tollgate Bridge, a heavily loaded truck attempting to ascend the hill experienced a mechanical failure, or possibly a loss of traction, that caused it to stall and roll backward uncontrollably, creating a highly dangerous situation for vehicles following behind. A bus and a truck collided in Nashik, India, but fortunately no one was injured. This makes the government necessary to take the issue of signals and traffic rules on India roads seriously. Even though the road ahead was jammed, the container truck was still going quite fast. It only slowed down when it got close to the Lexus, but it still couldn't avoid causing a pile-up collision. A car rammed into a truck making a U-turn on the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway in India. The incident occurred on 5 May 2024 and was caught on CCTV, revealing the negligence of the truck driver. The truck driver is absconding. Trucks have significant blind spots, especially on the passenger side. Overtaking on the right may put you in a position where you can't react quickly to sudden stops or swerves by the truck. A truck overturned while cornering and then fell into a ravine. The vehicle was transporting event equipment when this occurred. When they were driving on Lighthouse Road, Cape Otway, Australia, an approaching car on the wrong side of the road clipped them rear guard on the way past. If you're running late, don't try to make up time at intersections. A few extra seconds of waiting can prevent a crash. Many drivers assume they'll make it through in time, but traffic changes can happen quickly. A reckless truck driver on the highway caused a traffic accident by swerving between lanes at high speed and ignoring traffic rules, putting multiple vehicles at risk. Fortunately, a police car quickly intervened, pursued the truck and successfully managed to stop the driver before any further damage occurred. On May 27, 2020, a car reversed and knocked down a gas pump, and the people in the car quickly escaped. The fire spread quickly, and the smoke was acrid. The car was burned and crushed at the rear, and a motorbike was burned. A Nissan Silvia S15 lost control at high speed due to oversteering and crashed severely, resulting in the car being completely totaled. On March 6, 2024, in Shaktinagar, India, a black SUV hit a parked truck, causing the front of the car to be deformed. There were no serious injuries. Running a red light is extremely dangerous. Always slow down as you approach intersections and be prepared to stop. Hope he learns his lesson. A white car ran the red light and crashed into two cars. This is footage from a dashcam taken in Toyohira Ward, Sapporo City at around 5 a.m. on June 15, 2024. Here is the result of the technician failing to secure the hood properly. This incident resulted in $5,000 of damages. The damages were covered by Walmart. Stay safe and double-check your vehicle after service.
She's very good at interacting with voters, and she loved Tim Scott.
This is why defensive driving is so important. A white car came out of nowhere, crossed the double yellow in Dayton, Ohio, and, well, you can see the results. A train collides with a bus in Coahuila, Mexico. The bus broke down right on the train tracks, causing passengers and the driver to get off.
Oh, lo bueno, no había nadie, lo bueno. Se descompuso, no había. Oh, lo bueno que no había nadie. Lo que pasa es...
Start recording emergency video. Start recording emergency video.
Sao tôi đi nó nào thắng được mình thế?
A man, distracted and unaware of his surroundings, walked briskly toward what he thought was an open entryway, but ended up running headfirst into a spotless glass door. This whole video gave me anxiety and relief at the same time. Stop, look and listen at railway crossings, even if you don't see a train immediately. Wow, what a thrill ride just watching. I keep replaying and can't imagine what you felt. After a night of partying and sending the kids to school, an unlicensed man swipes a whole row of motorcycles. Home surveillance video captured the moment lightning struck a home, causing it to catch on fire in Colville, Texas. Cutting between lanes to get ahead doesn't save much time. Don't do that. It occurred on October 27, 2023, northbound Interstate 5 near Griffith Park, Los Angeles, California. There were no injuries. A woman riding a bicycle lost control while navigating a road and crashed directly through the front entrance of a beauty salon.
شافر همش yaxshi bo'ladimi? Esanamizga yetib olamiz. Albatta, qo'rqmanglar.
The launch of a Chinese lantern during what was intended to be a peaceful celebration went disastrously wrong when the lantern landed on the roof of the house. In Veracruz, Mexico, a car attempting to cross the railway tracks was struck by an oncoming train. Powerful gusts swept through the area with such force that they tore the roof completely off a building, sending sheets of metal and debris flying through the air. In the Philippines, a woman was using a hairdryer to dry her pet dogs. Then the hairdryer suddenly exploded. A truck suffered a sudden flat tire while traveling at speed, veered out of control and collided with the guardrail in Taiwan and caused traffic congestion in both directions. In the middle of a heavy rain, a man stood in the middle of the yard, and lightning struck the ground, causing everyone to panic. A fuel tank explosion happened at a gas station in Russia's third largest city, Novosibirsk. Law enforcement authorities have detained the gas station's manager. A heavy accumulation of snow on the building's roof, which had gone unnoticed during the prolonged winter storm, caused the weak structure to collapse. On July 24, 2024, a Bombardier operated by Soria Airlines crashed shortly after takeoff from Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu, Nepal. On May the 7th, 2025, a serious incident occurred at a construction site when a crane experienced a catastrophic shear failure in one of its critical load-bearing components. The aircraft was engaged in a demonstration flight, taking part in an air show at Chernoye Aerodrome, Russia, on September 2, 2017. The airplane descended too low and impacted ground with its left wing and crashed 180 meters further, bursting into flames. The phone battery suddenly exploded and caught fire while the technician was removing the battery from the device to replace it. Luckily, no one was hurt. Footage of the explosion at the Exxon gas station in Russia on August 8, 2014, a tanker truck designed to transport gas fuel exploded. In China, a tank truck traveling at high speed loses its braking function while driving a highway, leading to a catastrophic collision. A truck carrying a substantial load of hydrochloric acid overturned while navigating a bend in Civilisk, Russia. This is the moment a truck lost control, plowed through a plastic median strip, and then plunged off an elevated highway in China on April 10, 2025. A building exploded in Washington, D.C. as crews responded to a report of a gas leak. Children in a nearby daycare center were evacuated in time and are safe. Who is to blame here, pedestrian or trucker? Let me know your opinion in the comment below. It's impressive that the driver managed to remain in control of the truck and then avoid both the police cruiser and the fire truck and pull between them. Even though he's going to get charged with stuff, props to him for keeping damage low. It's pretty miraculous that no one was injured in the February 6, 2019 gas line explosion that shot 40-foot flames into the air at an inner Richmond corner, San Francisco. The contractor that ruptured the Geary Street gas line was unlicensed, and residents who lived at the 5 destroyed buildings are alleging further recklessness. On January 24, 2022, in Ponhang, South Korea, a 68-year-old driver lost control of his vehicle. The National Forensic Service concluded that the driver was not under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time of the accident. The Santa Fe vehicle suddenly accelerated before entering the toll gate and entered the shoulder to avoid a congested section, colliding with a carnival and then a truck. The copter landed in a deep ditch below the helipad. A doorbell security camera captured the moment of an explosion at a home in the Bronx, New York, on January 18, 2022. A gas leak caused the blast, as you can see. An out-of-control gravel truck, reportedly experiencing brake failure while driving highway, barreled uncontrollably into two passenger cars. A truck in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, with several tons of steel coils, not tied properly, fell off, smashing 3 cars, damaging streetlights. A dashcam video caught on a gas tank in the back of a truck exploding in Doral, Florida. A major interstate highway remained closed and dozens of properties were under evacuation orders after a freight train derailment in New Mexico near the state line with Arizona on April 27, 2024. The train's cars were carrying gasoline and propane when it derailed. An explosion occurred in an oxygen booth at a clinic in Chelyabinsk, Russia, reportedly due to a malfunction or pressure buildup in the oxygen supply system. The blast was powerful enough to shatter windows in nearby buildings and cause significant structural damage to the clinic itself. The explosion may have been triggered by a spark or equipment failure in an area where high concentration oxygen was present. An oxygen tank explosion caused by a sudden release of high-pressure gas ignited by a spark or heat source results in devastating damage, leaving residents in shock at the sudden blast. Traffic was stopped because of the street-sweeping vehicle, and the truck had passed signs warning this was happening ahead, yet ignored them, choosing not to reduce his speed.
Save that video.
On March 24, 2023, a natural gas explosion occurred at the R.M. Palmer Company chocolate factory in West Reading, Pennsylvania, destroying one building and damaging another nearby. The explosion was caused by a faulty natural gas fitting and a corroded steam pipe, leading to a cascading failure. People were asked to move away from the site of the blast. A train accident occurred in Paris, Missouri, approximately 30 miles east of Mobley on November 17, 2022. The impact caused both locomotives and 5 to 6 boxcars to derail. Tap into this opportunity and watch your income grow. The massive manhunt for 7 of the 10 escapees in Louisiana on May 18, 2025. The FBI is now offering $10,000, 0 cents per inmate, while the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives is offering $5,000, 0 cents per inmate. Kazakhstan experienced severe weather conditions characterized by strong winds and precipitation across various regions in December 2023. The combination of strong winds and reduced visibility, icy roads, prompted authorities to issue warnings and advise caution for travelers and residents. On May 4, 2021 in Phuket, Thailand, a pickup truck lost control on the road and crashed into a row of shops, causing damage to storefronts. Surveillance video captured the shocking moment. An explosion rocked New York City's Chelsea neighborhood. Another device, reportedly a pressure cooker rigged with wires, was later found in the same district. On December 24, 2022, in La Romana, Dominican Republic, a car was partially stopped on the railroad tracks as the train was oncoming. The car owner tried to save the property, but failed. Fortunately, the passengers were not seriously injured, and the driver is currently suspended pending an investigation into the incident. Perfect example of why you should never let ego drive you. And don't pull over or stop unless you're in a safe public place with witnesses. A man made a close call with a car that lost its brakes while he was taking out the trash. On September 17, 2013, in Novi Urengoy, Russia, a freight train collided with a large truck at a railway crossing. The truck attempted to cross the tracks despite warning signals. Several people narrowly escaped being hit by a train passing through Flagstaff, Arizona. A car was partially stopped on the railroad tracks as the railroad crossing arms came down. A steel roller trailer separated from the truck and crashed into a utility pole in China. Also in Russia, a dashcam caught the moment of a huge explosion 50 kilometers north of Moscow. This blast is said to have been caused by a short circuit at a substation near a local gas station. Hopefully that scooter doesn't hit any pedestrians or vehicles. The wind was so strong that it blew away the walls and windows. On May 9, 2023, a powerful explosion occurred at a 6-unit condominium complex on Madison's southwest side, sending debris into the street. A propane tank connected to a grill in the garage as a source of the explosion. Well, from a boating perspective, it looks pretty careless, but these guys are high-level surfers to be out at a spot like this. They can swim pretty damn well, and there are plenty of rescue jet skis around. A computer malfunction on board the Mega Yacht Go caused the yacht to lose its steering as it was attempting to exit the Simpson Bay Lagoon. As a result, the Mega Yacht drove helplessly into the wooden dock of St. Martin Yacht Club, destroying most of the wooden decking.
Getting the concrete down.
Oh dear, who'll be responsible for this incident? Learn from the collapse, everyone. On September 7, 2024, a tourist boat carrying passengers capsized in Ha Long, Vietnam, as Typhoon Yagi brought strong winds and heavy rainfall. Several powerful tugboats and massive barges struggle against the force of a rapidly rushing river, ultimately losing control and crashing violently into a bridge. On 19 July 2009, the tug North Arm Venture was towing the barge North Arm Express, loaded with fuel and deck cargo from Toba Inlet to Seachelt Inlet. The tug girded and capsized.
Oh my god!
Reverse, reverse.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! This lady! Oh my god! Stop!
On December 9, 2019, in Belgium, a cargo ship was left drifting off-quay and hit a container crane. The crane was completely destroyed and the ship had to be repaired. Nobody got injured.
Are you okay? Yeah.
Oh god! Oh my god!
A huge wave smashed through the front windows of a ferry in Hamburg, forcing passengers to run from their seats as the boat filled with water.
Твою мать! Пиздец, блядь, да ёп. Что-то она у них раком стала ходить, блядь. Поворот рано. Так это хорошо еще не в рог, блядь. Ой, ой, ой!
Examine the integrity of lashings, scrutinize the distribution of weight, and leave no corner uninspected.
Фиксируйте, блядь. Машину заводит, да?
Watch the large wave come through a restaurant on Stearns Wharf in Santa Barbara, California.
Time to go.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to experience the sheer power of storm waves while being on a small boat, battling against the relentless force of nature? Memorial Day boaters captured a massive slab of sandstone crashing into Lake Powell. A deputy Florida jumped from one speeding boat to another in order to get control of a runaway vessel. It was traveling at over 40 miles per hour. A 600,000-ton cargo ship under the command of a drunk Russian captain ran into the bridge in Busan, Korea. The lower part of the bridge sustained damage, and the damage reached $1 million. A yacht crash happened with the impact destroying everything in its path. Fire engulfed an offshore support vessel off the coast of Visakhapatnam, India on August 12, 2019, forcing the crew to abandon it and jump into the sea to save themselves.
God.
A luxurious 59-meter yacht collided with a bridge. The yacht escaped without pay. They went away in the evening instead to wait for low tide. A truck carrying 16 tons of asphalt concrete while moving down to the ferry suddenly slipped off the ferry and fell into the river. An incident as a massive ferry carrying passengers across the water is suddenly rammed by a powerful tugboat. The Marine Knutson supertanker was being guided by a pilot boat into Southampton docks. One yacht didn't seem to give itself enough time to clear the massive boat and was hit before having its mast and rigging ripped off when one of its sails got caught in the supertanker's anchor. A yacht collided while berthing in Osor, Croatia. The ship was sunk approximately 11 miles from Port Aransas. It will be used by divers from around the world to explore the many sea creatures that will inhabit the hull. Let's come and explore this ship.
It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh! Don't!
Wow, all that cargo lost someone's hard work and livelihood just sank into the ocean. That's millions of dollars just floating away. What do you think happened to the boat driver after that? On the night of August 12, 2015, the bustling port city of Tianjin, China, was shaken to its core by a series of catastrophic explosions that erupted from a hazardous chemicals warehouse in the Binai New area, a busy industrial district. The initial blast occurred shortly before midnight and was so powerful that it registered as an earthquake, followed seconds later by a far larger explosion equivalent to 21 tons of TNT, which sent a mushroom cloud towering into the night sky.
哇！我日，楼都在晃！我操！楼上玻璃碎了，我操！哦，这冲击力太大了。
Firefighters were the first to arrive on the scene, unaware of the exact nature of the chemicals involved, and tragically, entire apartment blocks within a kilometer radius were left gutted or uninhabitable. However, as details emerged, public outrage grew, particularly over the lack of transparency and apparent regulatory negligence. Louisville Logistics was found to have been operating illegally, having received permits to handle hazardous materials through falsified documents and corrupt approvals. The facility was located dangerously close to densely populated residential areas, in violation of safety regulations requiring hazardous chemical storage to be at least 1 kilometer away from homes, a rule evidently ignored or circumvented through collusion with local officials. In the weeks that followed, thousands of troops and chemical specialists were dispatched to Tianjin to decontaminate the site, especially due to the presence of sodium cyanide, which reacts with water to produce deadly hydrogen cyanide gas. The incident spurred a temporary tightening of hazardous materials regulations and prompted a national safety inspection campaign across similar facilities. The Tianjin explosions became a grim symbol of the human cost of China's industrial ambitions and the perils of sacrificing safety for economic speed. Reports later suggested that early firefighting efforts may have exacerbated the disaster, as water sprayed on reactive chemicals may have triggered the second explosion. Urban planning must also take industrial risks seriously, ensuring that dangerous facilities are kept at safe distances from residential areas. In the years since, the crater left by the blasts has been filled, the rubble cleared, and efforts made to rebuild. Yet the memory of that devastating night endures in the national consciousness. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster stands as one of the most catastrophic nuclear accidents in human history. Occurring on April 26, 1986, a routine safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant spiraled out of control. The disaster unfolded at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the town of Pripyat in the former Soviet Union, present-day Ukraine. The Soviet government initially attempted to cover up the magnitude of the incident. It wasn't until Swedish nuclear facilities detected unusually high levels of radiation and demanded an explanation that the USSR admitted something had occurred. The operators were not fully aware of the dangers involved in the test they conducted, and the reactor's flawed design contributed to the chain of failures.
Water level is 40. No, 25.
Make your mind up. It ain't at 5.
One of the most heroic and tragic chapters in the story of Chernobyl involves the liquidators. A massive army of around 600,000 civil and military personnel who were deployed to decontaminate the area, bury radioactive waste, and construct a concrete sarcophagus to encase reactor No. 4. The initial sarcophagus was hastily constructed and began to deteriorate over time, leading to the construction of the new safe confinement, a massive steel structure completed in 2016 that now envelops the original structure and is designed to last at least 100 years. The ecological impact of the Chernobyl disaster has been profound. The region surrounding the plant, once home to bustling communities and fertile farmland, became one of the most radioactive places on Earth. Over the decades, Chernobyl has evolved from a symbol of nuclear catastrophe to a cautionary tale with enduring global relevance. The disaster profoundly altered public perception of nuclear energy, particularly in Europe, leading to the abandonment or scaling back of many nuclear projects. On a broader level, Chernobyl also reminds us of the ethical responsibility that comes with powerful technologies. The pursuit of energy and progress must never come at the expense of human life or environmental safety. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster was not merely an industrial accident, it was a moment of reckoning for modern civilization. It exposed the terrifying potential consequences of technological failure and government secrecy. Yet it also demonstrated the resilience and courage of those who responded to the crisis. While technology can fail, it is human decision-making before, during, and after a crisis that ultimately determines the outcome. On the morning of December 11, 2005, a massive explosion tore through the Buncefield oil storage depot near Hemel Hempstead in Hertfordshire, United Kingdom. The blast, which was heard as far away as the Netherlands, became one of the largest peacetime explosions in Europe. Remarkably, everyone survived. The Buncefield oil depot was one of the largest in the country and played a crucial role in fuel distribution across southern England. The facility consisted of 20 large fuel storage tanks and was linked via pipelines to major refineries and other depots. Its location, just 25 miles north of London and in close proximity to residential areas and commercial properties, The events leading up to the explosion began on the night of December 10, 2005. Fuel deliveries were being made to several tanks at the depot. As the tank filled, a critical safety system failed. The tank's gauge, which was supposed to monitor the rising fuel level, became stuck and inaccurately showed a constant reading, even as the petrol level continued to rise. Simultaneously, the independent high-level switch, which should have acted as a backup to shut down the flow of fuel in the event of overfilling, also malfunctioned. With both systems inoperative, fuel kept entering the tank unnoticed and eventually overflowed. Unleaded petrol began spilling over the top of the tank and accumulated around its base. Petrol is highly volatile, and as it evaporated, it formed a dense vapor cloud. The calm, cold weather that morning allowed the vapor to spread horizontally rather than dissipate. The invisible but highly flammable cloud drifted across the depot and into surrounding areas. At approximately 6 a.m., the vapor found an ignition source believed to be a spark from a generator or electrical equipment and detonated in a devastating explosion. The inferno would continue to burn for several days, with fire services from across the UK mobilized to contain it. Firefighters used vast quantities of foam and water to douse the flames, which were visible from miles away and even detectable by satellite. The site was largely unoccupied at the time, and most nearby businesses had not yet opened. In the aftermath, entire office blocks were rendered unusable. Hundreds of homes were damaged, and economic losses were estimated to be in the hundreds of millions of pounds. The explosion released significant quantities of airborne pollutants, including hydrocarbons and particulates, which degraded air quality across southern England. Firefighting efforts further compounded the problem. An investigation concluded that the disaster was entirely preventable. At its core was a combination of technical failure and human oversight. Safety should not be treated as a secondary concern, but as a core value embedded in every level of operation. On the afternoon of August 4, 2020, in the heart of Beirut, Lebanon, life carried on amid an already difficult year. The country was in the grips of a devastating economic crisis, worsened by political instability and the COVID-19 pandemic, but nothing could prepare the people of Beirut for the catastrophe that was about to unfold.
What? Sweat, bro!
A massive explosion rocked the city. In an instant, entire neighborhoods were destroyed. The ground shook with the force of an earthquake, glass shattered across miles, buildings crumbled, and a giant mushroom cloud rose over the port. The cause? A massive stockpile of ammonium nitrate, 2,750 tons of it, had been sitting in a warehouse in the port of Beirut for more than 6 years, unsafely stored and neglected by successive governments.
Whoa!
The explosive chemical had been confiscated from a ship in 2013, and despite repeated warnings from customs officials and port authorities, no action had been taken to properly dispose of it. The sound was heard over 150 miles away, and the shockwave was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded. The city looked like a war zone within seconds.
هيدا تحت هون ما في بناية فوق الثاني.
البور ماشي عبارة عن كسر حديد البور ماشي.
But perhaps more painful than the physical destruction was the anger and betrayal felt by the Lebanese people. This wasn't just a tragedy caused by fate, it was a disaster born of neglect, corruption, and state failure. For years, officials had known about the danger lurking in the port and had done nothing. The explosion left a crater over 140 meters wide in the heart of the city's port. Iconic streets in downtown Beirut were reduced to rubble. Schools, homes, hospitals, and historical buildings were destroyed. International aid poured in, but political paralysis hampered recovery. Many survivors still wait for justice. No one has been held fully accountable. The finish line is here. Don't forget to give us a like button and share your road encounters in the comments. And don't miss the video on the right side of the screen. See you soon.